Welcome to the madhouse.
Hello everybody, it's me again with another book review. This time it is Watchmen by Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons. Of course, Alan Moore wrote it and Dave Gibbons is the illustrator, and the colours were done by John Higgins. He was the colourist in this. Basically, this is my first graphic novel review, actually. This is my first graphic novel. There's the back of it. There's a cool picture of Alan Moore there and Dave Gibbons. Yeah, basically, I've wanted to get Watchmen for a while. I've heard that the book is better than the film, so I decided to get the book. Now that I've got the book, I will be getting the film at some point. But I decided I would review the book today. First of all, you got all the nice... I'll just show you some of the nice artwork in it. Look at that, that's good, isn't it? It's all in this one big book. I believe you can still get the volumes separately. There are 12 different volumes, which have just been changed into chapters for this. And every chapter has sort of pages and pages of comic book panels. Everyone has about 28 to 30 pages, most of which are comic book form, and then the other bits are prose. Got some prose in there as well, written by, and all the prose bits are written by Alan Moore, and they're all sort of like newspaper clippings and like bits from other books, but they're all sort of, they're not comic book form, that's the thing. But there's one from the New Frontiersman, which is the fake newspaper. Basically, Watchmen follows, it's set in some point in the 80s. I forgot what year it is, but it's some point in the 80s, and it's an alternative history where Richard Nixon is still in charge of the United States of America, and superheroes, or masked vigilantes, or masked heroes, or whatever you want to call them, have been outlawed. Masked adventurers is what they're called in the book, or costumed adventurers, or whatever. But they've been basically outlawed. They used to help the police and work with the police and the government, but now most of them have been, retired against their will somewhat. Apart from two, Dr. Manhattan and the Comedian. And this book actually starts off with the murder of the Comedian. And a sort of outlawed vigilante, outlawed adventurer, Rorschach, who is here. Rorschach is basically trying to solve the case of who's killed the Comedian. And basically what's happened is, as the book goes on, various other former superheroes get killed, and Rorschach gets a paranoid feeling that it might be a masked killer, a mask killer on the loose. So he tries to convince some of his old friends to come and fight again. But this is the thing: Rorschach is not quite mental. He's not quite mentally stable. You know what I mean? He's a bit, and he's sort of a bit psychologically unbalanced in the entire book. And all the superheroes in it have that sort of human element to them, that they're not sort of, because like if you watch sort of Superman and Spider-Man and stuff like that, and you watch just superhero movies, a lot of them don't have that sort of psychological edge to them. Another good example of them having psychological edges is in the Christopher Nolan Batman series, because of course Batman has the sort of, you sort of see the human side of Batman in that, and you sort of see the psychology of these characters in Watchmen, because basically, Dr. Manhattan, the big blue guy at the back, he's sort of an outcast, this one whose name I keep forgetting, she basically doesn't want to be a costumed adventurer. This guy, Night Owl, he used to be one and sort of misses it. Rorschach still is one, and the police are looking for him because he's not allowed to be a adventurer anymore. And Ozymandias, I think that's his name. Yeah, sorry, I've not read it for a couple of weeks. Sorry, I finished reading it a couple of weeks ago. I forgot his name. I think it's Ozymandias. Sorry. Yeah, Ozymandias is his name. He sort of has made a load of money from it. And the comedian who's down here is dead. But yeah, it sort of chronicles their sort of way, and also it has the scary sort of. Not only does it have the story of the comedian's murder, but it also has the sort of story of World War III, potentially. It has a story of World War III involving Afghanistan, Russia, and Pakistan, I think. And sort of has all the... See, this is the thing. This is... Alan Moore knows this, because this was written in the 80s, when everyone was worried about, you know, nuclear war, and possibly the end of the world as a result of nuclear war. And he sort of puts that complex story in as well, and sort of combines the two, merges them, and on top of these two complex stories that have been merged into one massive complex story, you also have a third story, a comic within a comic, The Tales of the Black Frainer. I think it's what it's called. But it's basically a pirate story that a kid keeps reading outside a comic book store, and basically the guy who owns the comic book store is sort of giving his philosophies on everything to this kid. First of all on the Masked Adventurers, then on the sort of the war, and then on various other things. And the kid's just not interested, you can tell. He's reading his book. But, yeah. But you really get to see all the psychological characters, and Rorschach in this is a messed up dude, I can tell you. Because despite the fact that this is superheroes, it is properly violent. Okay? I mean, there's people getting crap kicked out of them, yes, but there's also people getting shot, there's people getting set on fire, I think. There's stuff blowing up, people getting murdered randomly and beaten up and assaulted and various other things. And most of that is down to Rorschach. Rorschach ends up, you know, killing dogs and throwing hot oil on a dude's face when he gets arrested and put in prison, and various other things. But I'm sort of running out of things to say about it now, but it is a fantastically complex and psychological book, and yet still there are people who will either read the book and watch the film and sort of forget about the complexity of it because you can see Dr. Manhattan's Willy. Yes, you can. Wow. But yeah, you know, it's a bit disappointing because some people sort of get distracted by it not so much in the book, but more in the film. People have said that they've been distracted by it. I'm like, why? Oh, it's a blue willy. Look, let's get distracted by the blue willy. Everybody forget what's happening. Look at the blue willy. But, yeah, got to check out the film of this now. The film is by Zack Snyder, obviously. I've heard that the film isn't that good, but I have heard, a mate of mine has seen it, and he said that the guy that plays Rorschach is really, really good. And the guy that plays Dr. Manhattan as well. So I'll have to get the film, if for no other reason, even if it turns out to be crap, I can guarantee it will probably look spectacular, because Zack Snyder, for all his faults, and he has a few, I mean, he made Sucker Punch, for God's sake, but all of his films are very visually impressive. I mean, you know, 300 is a brilliantly visual looking film. Dawn of the Dead is a great looking movie. No doubt Man of Steel will also be fantastic and have loads of cool visual effects, and Watchmen also. But the film's on for like 3 hours or something, so I have to get the film and sort of waste one of my evenings watching The Watchmen. So yeah, Watchmen, a fantastic book, fantastically complex, and sort of a grown-up comic book. And I'm going to give it 5 stars because it's brilliant. Who watches The Watchmen? We do. We do. Goodbye.